Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a new video working on the car, and I know if you see the car behind me, it looks a little bit different than the last video, and I have a whole video about what I have been doing to this car recently. Long story short, I'm basically going to change the color, so right now I'm getting it prepared for that. But today's video is not about that. It's special because I'm going to be installing my first real aftermarket mod, I guess. So over here we have a box from BC Racing, and inside we have some BC Racing BR series coilovers. Today, that's what I'm going to install. I'm going to see how long it takes me. I'm going to try and install it just today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that, and I'll see you guys soon. Alright, I got the tires off, and I'm going to go ahead and start on the front side because those are the true coilovers, so I'm going to start on that side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on both sides, and I'm going to go to the back and do the rear coilovers, which are not true coilovers, it's just a strut and the spring, but it's a coilover kit. So start on the front, and then I'll show you guys what I do. Alright, so the setup we got in here is we have the strut, this is a coilover setup already from factory. We got the strut and the spring, and then we have a bolt right here. And then there are some bolts down here as well, and then I have to take off the sway bar link right here, and then that should be it for just taking this out. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. Alright, this bolt right here was the hardest of the four because there's a nut on this side and a bolt on the other side. So my setup is I have the wrench right here sandwiched on the strut, and I have my breaker bar, and I'm kind of sitting down there and pushing it up and down. So it's getting loose slowly but surely, but I'm gonna get there. Alright, the strut is out. It's not connected anymore. Alright, now that everything's disconnected, I can go up top right here and just take off these nuts, and then the whole thing should just drop down. So Alright, here is the stock strut and spring versus the new coilover. So obviously I can change the ride height right now, so I might do that just to get a closer, and then I'll change it after when it's on the car. But here is the new BC Racing coilover for the front left and the stock one. So yeah, this is much bigger, much softer. This will be a lot stiffer and kind of help handling a lot better. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, I had to put the camera down for a little while because that was super frustrating and kind of challenging to line up the new coilover with the old spots. So I'll see if I can film the best I can back here. But basically, I have all of the bolts in the correct spots. You probably can't see any of them. But now I need to put the sway bar link in, and then I will be good. Actually, since the sway bar link is in a different spot than the factory, I have to do the other side first, and then I can get this done. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the other side. I already put some PB blaster on there, so hopefully it shouldn't be as hard to get these bolts off, those bolts off as it was these bolts. So I'm gonna go to the other side and try that, and then we can do the sway bars after I finish that side. Alright, it is currently the next day, I did have a little bit of a setback. Yesterday, I actually broke 2 bolts on the passenger side. So I was dealing with that for probably 7 hours yesterday, trying to drill through, get rid of just the bolt. I got one of them out pretty easily, and then the other one was really tough. So I got through it, and I ended up figuring a way around it. So now I have everything bolted in. The passenger side coilover is in and is mounted on top right there too. So I'm going to go ahead and put the wheels back on, lower it down, and see what my ride height in the front is like, and then I will get started on the back. My jack is too tall, so it's hitting that bar right there, so I can't get my jack out, and it looks like it actually bent the bar. I'm going to have to raise it up and then lower it onto something else. Alright, well the first ones are in, the front sides are in, and this is the ride height as of right now. It is pretty low, so I'm definitely gonna have to change that because I'm definitely gonna rub right here when I turn and stuff. So as of right now, this is what it's like, but when I do the back, I'm gonna go ahead and change this ride height to be a little higher, and then I'll start driving after that. Alright, so I just got home from work, I ate some dinner, and I took the wheels off the rear and put it up on jack stands. So now that I got the fronts done, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the coils or the springs and the struts on the back. So yeah, I'll start that real quick. On the back of the strut right here, there's a bolt at the bottom, which my breaker bar is connected to right now. And I have the jack supporting the weight of all of this, so when I take this strut off, the spring doesn't just kind of like make it move down. So I'm gonna break this bolt loose, and hopefully it doesn't break like the other two. And then I'm going to lower the jack and see where we go from there. Alright, so now that the spring, it has a little bit of tension on it, or compression on it, I'm going to have my brother step on the brake rotor, and then I'm going to try and yank the spring out to see how well that'll work. Okay, now to get the rear strut out, you have to pull up this carpet right here. So I ended up taking out it was pretty simple, just take out some other stuff just so I can pull this back pretty easily, but I am not gonna lie, I literally have no clue what this is, but it's in the way of the carpet. So I'm not gonna take it out, I'm just gonna try and shove it up there, but I won't be able to film very well, so I'll just sit this camera in the corner and you will watch me struggle to get this out. So basically, in this kit, we have the spring, top mount, and the adjuster for the height adjustment. So basically, I'm going to reuse the 2 rubber pieces from the old spring, and I'm going to put this on the triangle piece, and that kind of just seats right there. The spring is going to go on top, and this is going to go right here on this piece, and then that's going to flip upside down like that. So that is how the spring setup is for these coilovers. Alright, so basically it goes in the same way that I just explained over there. So we have the piece with the rubber piece of the triangle on it, on the on the upper control arm, and then we have the little seated piece, and then the whole other rest of the spring goes on like this. And this is a lot shorter of a spring, so it goes in much easier. Yeah, this is basically how it's gonna go for now. What I saw to make it sit correctly is that you want to compress the spring about 10 millimeters, then you will adjust the shock to meet up with the spring. So I got my jack down here on the lower control arm, and I'm going to jack it up until the spring compresses about 10 millimeters. And I have just a basic ruler right here. All right, so I'm gonna make a measurement from there to there, 14.5. So I want to go up to 13.5. So I will just hold this here like this. That's about 10 millimeters. So now I'm going to go around this side and adjust the shock. Alright, now I have some medium strength thread locker. I'm going to go ahead and put on this bolt right here. Oh, that was a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and thread it into the hole. Alright, now that I have the shock all lined up, when I take the jack stand out, the suspension should not droop. Yep, and there we go. The suspension just stayed where it was, which is how it's supposed to be. I got everything back together on both sides. The wheels are on, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it and see what the ride height looks like. Oh yeah, I've got plenty of room left. I'm gonna go ahead and raise it up and then lower it a little bit more, and then I'll see what the fitment is like after. All right, here's the final fitment for today. I think that I'm gonna leave it about here because if I get a wheel spacer, then it looks like it'll be pretty much perfect fitment. So I'm gonna leave it there for now, see how it feels. And I might raise the fronts tomorrow, but for right now, I'm gonna leave it for the night because it's pretty late. I think it's probably like 11. It's 11:47, a lot later than I thought it was. So I'm gonna drive it off the wood, and then I'll pick this up tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm gonna go for a test drive, and I'll do some POV driving with the GoPro. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so this morning I dialed in the height for the front, so I don't think I'll rub anymore. So yeah, this is what the fitment's looking like. The front is pretty low, but it's still functional. And then the rear doesn't have to be as functional, but it's still, I don't think I'm gonna rub in the back. I'm gonna strap up the GoPro, and then I'm gonna go take the car for a test drive, and I'm gonna do some POV driving. So I'll go through, find some roads that have some bumps and whatever to try and test out the coilovers. So yeah, I'll set that up right now. Alright, I don't have any bumpers on right now, so I don't really have to worry about scraping the driveway, but when I do put them on, I might start scraping because of how low I am now, so I gotta be careful of that. Bumps do feel a lot nicer. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna break my car every time I go over a bump now. But I definitely can feel the road. I can feel the road a lot more than I could before. And it's weird because it's stiff, the suspension is stiff, but it like, before it felt soft, but it was bouncy. Now it's stiff, but it's not like super bouncy. You know what I mean? So after I hit a bump, it like bounces and then it stops real fast. All right, I'm gonna try and take this roundabout a little bit fast. There's a Tesla coming up next to me. Body roll feels significantly less. Like, my alignment is also off a little bit, if you can see that, but the body roll feels really good. I do need to get a sway bar eventually so that I will like pretty much eliminate the body roll, but for right now it feels a lot better than it did before. haven't felt any rubbing so far. It's just, I mean, the car just feels rattly in general. It's expected, but the suspension feels good, sounds good, no weird noise or anything, so yeah, it's good so far. I'll give it a little bit of a pull right here. I'll go whichever lane this truck is not in, and I'll do a small pull.